Welcome to Build. I'm Ricky Camilleri. Thank you, everybody. Coming to this very stage in just a second are two of the most amazing, inspiring, and funny women working in Hollywood today, really to ever work in Hollywood. Of course, I'm talking about Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. Give it up, guys. Let's hear it. The two of them are here to talk about the upcoming 4th season of their hit Netflix show, Grace and Frankie, for which they not only star, but also executive produce. Now, before the two of them get out here, I want to let our audience at home know they can leave Jane and Lily questions by using the Submit a Question button right next to this video. Right now, let's take a look at the trailer for Grace and Frankie Season 4.
So, did you sign up for that dating site I signed you up for?
Yes, and oddly enough, I didn't find the love of my life on hippieroundup.com.
Hey, hon.
Who's that?
Cherie. She's been doing my nails for 20 years.
Can I give you a hug? It's a good thing I'm not allergic to rhinestones.
Oh, that is a good thing.
What the hell is going on here?
Things have been rough with Saul. We need some time together.
Is Saul making you terrible at theater?
I'm someone who needs people.
Have you two ever considered an open marriage?
It's good, right?
Robert, were you even listening to my colonoscopy story?
Excuse me, looks like you're handing out dildos.
These are vibrators. We are empowering young women.
Do you two know how lucky you are to have each other?
Yeah, I think we do.
Mom, is your knee still bothering you?
I'm fine.
Do you really think you're going to be able to hide your crap knee from everyone?
Do you know where the dog condominiums are?
I hate my fucking life.
You have water damage on your kitchen ceiling.
We need to talk.
I can't compete with younger women.
What are you so afraid of?
Once you see the real me, you are gonna run for the hills.
Oh! The baby's coming! The baby's coming! The baby's coming! Here, baby, 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 baby.
Jesus, Mom, that can't be how it works.
Have there been unexplained bruises?
I can explain all my bruises. Tybo, fight with a hammock, slept on an Oreo.
I don't need to sit here and take this.
Seems like you do.
Everybody, I want the biggest round of applause you've ever given for Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having it. I just want to explain the bandage. I just had a cancer taken from my lip. I thought it was going to heal in time before I came before you, but it's fine. I just wanted to explain it. I don't normally go around like
I
this.
think it's amazing that you still came. A lot of people would be like, I'm not doing press. Nope. But you're here. That's fantastic.
Well, the world is falling apart. What's a lip, right?
Yeah. And now with the world falling apart, thankfully we get to have some good times with Grace and Frankie for one more season before it really does fall apart. Take me back to the beginning when Marta Kaufman, because this is created by Marta Kaufman, right? Who
created Friends.
Yeah. When she approached the two of you and said, I have this show idea, what was your first thought? Because you hadn't really worked together since 9 to 5, right?
Right. But we'd stayed friends.
And I've done lots of tributes to her.
And I've done tributes to her.
So what did you think when she approached the two of you to do this show?
I said, yes.
We were excited.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something about women of our age.
Yeah.
That would be amusing and entertaining, and then be contentful as well.
Did you say contentful?
Yes. That's what she said, yeah.
Do you mean contented or full of content?
No, just let her be.
Yeah, okay.
You know, she's...
Were you, when she approached you, did she talk about how they were going to be women of your age who were also incredibly sex positive and independent and sort of unlike any other women your age that we normally see on television or in movies?
Well, I think she did.
Give me a turn to answer.
I was just kind of
All we knew was there were two women who didn't like each other, who were married to law partners, and in the very first scene of the first episode, the men tell us that they're leaving us for each other.
And can we talk about how cute Sam Waterston and Martin Sheen are together?
Aren't they great?
It's adorable. Like every time, there's a scene where they're getting locked up in a paddy wagon. I think it's from last season, right? And just watching it last night, we were just going, God, look at how cute these two are. It's really adorable.
And in real life, too. No, they're great. We're lucky.
The cast that has been built out around you just gets better and better as the seasons progress. And I know that you two are executive producers. Do you have a hand in choosing castmates?
Oh, yeah, that we do, yes. Right. Don't we?
Kinda.
What are your rules?
That they be funny and that we like them.
And that they be good to tap dance. Because we like to do a lot of tapping in between takes. Everyone.
I'm going to go by Jane's look that was not true.
We want someone to teach us a new step.
But we don't, I didn't know who the young kids were before we started. And I mean, I am totally smitten by June Diane Raphael.
She's really great.
Oh my God, she's great. She's beautiful, she's funny, she's fierce.
And she's a writer as well.
She plays my oldest daughter, yeah.
And they didn't have a lot to do until the second season. They started really getting more material and finding their way through everything. It's a bit daunting to be on a show with the two of us and Sam and Martin. Yeah. You know, for kids who are just starting out, sort of. Not that they don't have a lot of work behind them.
Well, June was never daunted.
No, she wasn't.
She comes out of the...
I tried to get rid of her because she...
She's just too confident for you?
I
knew soon it would be Grace and Diane, or whatever her name was, Brianna.
You know, I don't know if you get... Everybody always thinks Frankie comes before Grace. Oh, I love your show, Frankie and Grace. Makes me furious.
It's better to end on a single syllable.
Oh.
Good answer.
Just indicate their personal taste.
Grace and Frank. Anyway,
now, as we see in the trailer, Lisa Kudrow is a part of this new season. So what was it like getting this character? And then did she come first, or did the character come first?
Well, we wanted some. You take it.
Okay, the character came first, and then we cast her, which made me very happy because I've always wanted to get to know her, and she's become a friend. But see, the end of the previous season, Frankie goes off to Santa Fe.
To live with Jacob.
To live with her lover, the Yam Man. And
the wonderful Ernie Hudson, which is so nice to see in something.
Yes, and...
Got another show.
I didn't know.
He does? He's not... Oh, okay.
I think he did, unless it failed or
That's
something.
Too bad. And... Anyway, and so, you know, she's gone. I need a new friend, and so, shush. I became involved with Lisa, with her character, and then when Frankie comes back, she gets jealous.
You see how dumbfounded I'm just... She walks in, I'm sitting there with Grace thinking I'm going to move back into my studio, and everything's going to be the same, and here comes this piece of bubble gum. Big pink outfit, you know, I'm just beside myself.
Without giving too much away, I will say one of the things that I love about the show, and it works out in that plot strand as well, is that things generally go well for everybody in the show because everybody kind of loves each other and treats everybody with a certain amount of grace, for lack of a better word, but love and dignity. Was that like a kind of a rule of the show going into it, that you really wouldn't have any villains and you wouldn't have anybody that represented anything too negative? Everyone is very positive and happy in the show usually.
Well,
Not a rule, no. We never discussed it.
No.
But I think one of the reasons the show is so popular is that, oh God, in this day and age, you know, we need something that doesn't cause anxiety. Yeah. You know what I'm? Yeah. See, there's nods. It's good to look at. We have a great cameraman, Gail Tattersall, who makes us all look fantastic, and the home, the beach, everything looks good. And then, you know, it's even when it gets real and sad and people sometimes cry, it's not anxiety causing.
Well, I'm kind of curious, and I don't want to take too much away from the show, but Jane, you're an incredible activist, and you had this period of time in the 70s where you're just I was listening to a podcast with you today, and you said that you devoted most of your time at a certain point in your life into being an activist, and you talk about anxiety. Do you feel like you had more anxiety then than now, or
I have never felt the anxiety that I feel right now.
Really?
No, it's I'm 80. I just turned 80. I thought I could relax.
Happy birthday! Round of applause, please.
Thank you. I could feel my muscle. No,
Gladly.
That I could maybe study novel writing or gardening or something, and it's back to the barricades now. Every ounce of energy we have, every bit of our resources has to go to protect our democracy. So I feel very...
And our planet.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Maybe the planet first, because what kind of democracy? Yes, right.
I don't want to add that footnote.
When it comes to the show, and with all these things on your mind, I imagine going into season 4 as executive producers, how involved with the writers are you, and how much more do you want to approach telling stories about this kind of anxiety, or do you more want to make light of it and not make people feel that?
Well, we don't want to make light of it, but episodic television is a unique animal, and I can't pretend, this is the first time I've ever done this. I've been a guest star, like on Newsroom, but I've never done this, like, every day kind of thing. And I have to leave it to the writers, because they understand how to do this and keep it just the right balance, and I don't. So I save my activism. Well, I mean, in a way, you could say that the fact that we play older women who are not going down easy, and we have a lot of piss and vinegar and vibrators and things like that, and sex. And
also the fact that the relationships of the show, these two women having sex, but that they are friends with their former husbands who are now lovers. I mean, it isn't abnormal is not the right word, but it's a different kind of family dynamic than we're used to seeing, which I think is important to represent.
So you could say that's kind of a form of activism. We are trying to put a certain message out there, that it's not over just because you're old. And that
and as you said earlier this morning, we've got to care about each other. So all those relationships are going to continue, even though you may not be living together, but you get over your hurt and you go back to the affection you had for the person when you loved them.
How often did you two hang out together before you were doing Grace and Frankie? How often did you see each other and spend time together as friends?
We're usually at an airport, getting on planes, going someplace.
To raise money.
Yeah.
That's it. That's sort of the extent.
Raise
That's
a
what
ruckus.
We do.
Really?
Yeah. Women's March, for example.
Yeah.
And
going on.
We hung out and yay.
And are you going to be there for because I know you're going to
Sundance.
Sundance for a documentary, and there's going to be another march this year, right?
I'm going to march at Sundance, yeah.
What is this documentary that you have
it's about me.
Sundance?
It's called Jane in 5 Acts.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's hard to watch.
The documentary is about you?
Just because you were interviewed doesn't mean it's about you.
Oh, it goes all the way back to that one?
Well,
it was at your house for like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, it must be quite a piece of work. And deserved so, I would say.
Huh?
Deserved.
Yeah. Well, I've had a long life.
And a multifaceted life.
What is it like for you to tell your life story like?
Well, I've done it a lot. I mean, I've written a book, and so I'm used to, but seeing it on the screen is so hard. It's hard to sit and look at a movie about yourself, because it's not necessarily flattering or anything. It's tough.
Mm-hmm. Is it unkind?
No, it's not unkind, but it doesn't exactly leave things out. Some things it doesn't include, but.
Lily, has anyone ever approached you about making a documentary about your life?
No.
Really? I find that very hard to believe.
Wait till she dies. I'll put together a documentary. I know stuff you wouldn't believe.
That statement assumes that she'll be the one to die first.
Duh. Sorry. I'm just kidding.
No. No, I'm just playing on the audience's sympathies.
Were you going to say something a minute ago?
I don't know what I was going to say. It's a fleeting moment and it left.
How close to you personally is Grace and Frankie? Like how similar to Grace and Frankie do you find that the two of you are personally?
Well, you know, the more we promote the show, I feel like I'm getting more and more like Frankie every day. I used to fancy that I was like her, but now I see that I'm more like Frankie. And I think she's getting more and more like Grace.
Who, Frankie? Oh, yeah, okay. No, I'm not like Grace.
You're not?
No. Gosh, no. No, but I love Grace. I feel sorry for her.
What do you love about playing these characters?
You. Huh?
What do you love about playing these characters?
Well, I because I love working with her. I mean, I love
like
this
the money.
woman and I admire her. Yeah, hey, listen, having a steady job
I was almost
at
down
our
to my
ages-
last dollar when the call came. Yes, I said. Oh, and by the way, who's playing Grace? Okay, all right, I'll go along with it. All right.
Hold your microphone.
I'll go along with it.
Well, she gives all her money away.
Oh, my God.
I mean, she takes in stray people and stray animals, and no, it's true.
Is that true at all?
Yes, it is.
I don't think it's true.
I know.
Stray animals, maybe.
I know where her money goes. She gives it away. So she needs.
She's the one
she
who
does
gives
a lot
it away.
of good work. So
In fact, didn't you give like 14
Never
million to
mind.
some university and then had to draw it back because you were getting divorced? Well, she was getting down. You know, she's so
Ted said he's
extravagant.
down to his last billion, so he has to be really careful. He said to me the other day, you know, you can get by on $1 billion. And he meant it.
I know. God love him. What a guy.
Yeah. I'm talking about Ted Turner.
No, I know you are. I know you are.
But they, you know, I know.
See
They're
if he
young.
maybe he could get by like on a 98.
Billion?
98 million. And
Oh.
could give me 2 million.
You couldn't get by on that.
Oh, I could. Let
You could?
me show you.
Okay.
What would cause someone to not feel like they can get by on $1 billion? I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want. Is it just the knowledge of how much you have that affects your
Well, he
sort of
gives away
existential
many
crisis?
tens of millions of dollars. And he has 2 million acres, and he has to support all the animals. I'm not kidding either. All the endangered species that he's protecting on all his properties. And
Prairie dogs.
yes, black-footed ferrets.
I have read so much material on her because I'm always having to introduce her at some award. But I'm glad to do it.
I know you are. Gets you out there.
And someday when you're in the home, then they'll give the award to me.
How often is your relationship about taking each other down a peg a little bit? Like being able to rib each other a bit?
Oh, we're just horsing around.
Oh, no.
We're just horsing around.
But it's important with with close friends that you don't take each other too seriously, right?
Yeah.
No, we
I
do
do
have a
take
good
her
time.
kind of seriously. You know, I take her history kind of seriously.
No, I just feel really lucky because Lily is a true pioneer, and she is a genius.
Oh, wait,
Nobody
stop.
can do what she does.
You remember when Dolly had that look on her face at the Emmys?
Wait, why did she have that look on her face at the
So
end? I remember
people
when
wouldn't think that she was really identified with us.
Really?
Because we made a
Joke.
casual joke.
Lying,
Taking
hypocritical,
Yeah.
that's
sexist,
right.
egotistical.
And then
God forbid we should be talking about anybody that any of us knows.
anyway,
You made a Trump joke and Dolly was a little
Trump.
Oh,
shocked.
you said the word, yes.
I personally, and this isn't my interview, so I'm sorry to even
I didn't
go
think
off.
it was
but-
I was even practicing saying the joke in the car going over and saying, well, I'll try to say the joke so that I'll say, Trump under my breath or make it. And I thought I would have to do that for it to get to be funny. Because I thought it was sort of cute. But it turned...
For the Emmys. We're talking about what we did at the Emmys when...
It was a firestorm.
A 9 to 5 reunion.
Right.
And,
Yeah, it was so great.
And did Dolly say anything afterwards? Was she?
No. But, you know, it was... People have to be aware of their base.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Dolly has a slightly different audience potentially than, you know, Jane and Lily do.
She has our audience, too.
I agree.
She's got everybody's
She's
audience.
across the board. Beloved as well she should be, and deservedly.
Is there any chance of her potentially appearing or coming around?
You never say never.
No, we don't. We're always trying to work it out.
Have you asked her?
Oh, yeah.
It's a question of she's so busy. You know, I mean, like maybe last year she was going to, then there was the fire, you know, near Dollywood in Tennessee, and she had to go and raise money and help people, and, you know, she's very, very philanthropic, and so she didn't have time.
Yeah. She could loan Ted
As shocked as she was in that moment and as aware of your base as you have to be, which I think was a slight jab at Trump as well. Good. How much she was most likely in agreement with the two of you and what you said, I would imagine, right?
Don't know.
Yeah, we don't talk.
We don't talk of politics.
Really?
But I think she would be more inclined. Well, I'm not going to say it because that's what caused the
What we do
firestorm.
know is that she has a great deal of compassion and empathy and a huge heart, which we know the other person doesn't. So, you know.
Is it harder? Is it hard for you? I mean, it's hard for me these days to not talk to people about politics who don't want to talk about politics. It used to be easier, like, oh, we just won't talk about politics.
It's
now
hard.
it's the only thing that's on our minds a lot of the time.
It's so polarized. Everything is so polarized today.
And every day is sort of like a new fresh hell headline that you can't get out of your mind.
Right.
You know, like before you could go weeks until a policy thing came down to be like, oh, I'm upset about this and let's talk about it. Now it's like, oh.
Every day is a can you believe?
What's it like? I mean, what's it like for the two of you sort of living like that and dealing with something like that at your age after having gone through a number of presidents?
Isn't that a rotten deal?
Yeah, I really think it is.
You live all those years, you do your work, you try to make a difference, and then, my gosh, it just comes right back and bites you. Yeah. Only worse. As if it could ever get worse than it's been. And it has.
Do you feel like the sort of culture took revenge on you? Said it comes back and
takes it very personally.
I would take it personally if I were the two of you. There's a lot of work that was put in on both of your parts. You know,
this is how I view it. My attitude is all of the incredible civil society movements, civil rights movement, the women's movement, the LGBTQ movement. So many movements have made so much progress that the patriarchy, let's say, is a wounded beast, and there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded beast. And what we're seeing now is the flailing, the dangerous flailing of a wounded beast. It means that we've gotten stronger. And so we just need to get even more stronger just to slay it once and for all. The problem is, can we do it before the earth is done in? That's why climate is so important, because it's a race against time now. Boy, this is not a good thing to talk about on this show, I guess.
No, I absolutely think it's a good thing.
Your face looks numb.
Does it really? I'm excited for what you're talking about.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Well.
I love the show, but I love conversations like this as well. I agree. I do think in many ways we are in the last throes, death rattle of the hard right patriarchy of this country, but it's hopefully, you know, we come out the other side.
But it ain't going to happen unless we're really woke, right? Right?
Let's hear it.
Are we woke?
I'll ask. You know, one more political or cultural question before we get back to the show. And I'm curious if the Time's Up movement that's happening right now gives you even more positivity or hope for the future as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is an historic moment. This is a tipping point. And I'm part of Time's Up. And I've been to the meetings, and I can tell you, these are not some bubble-headed actresses. These are fierce warriors who understand what it means to be intersectional, to reach out to women of color, to men, to people across sectors, to, you know, to bring them in. We work on the issues of, well, office workers. We did 9 to 5 together, but also tip workers, waitresses, who have such a tough time of it and so much sexual harassment. And so, Time's Up is very, very broad, and it, as they said at the Golden Globes, it's not a moment, it's a movement, and it's a real movement, and I'm just so proud. I didn't go because of this. I was supposed to go, but I thought it was a great event, and it's going to continue.
Let me just ask, what do you mean by air bubble? What'd you call them?
She cracks herself up a lot.
Lily, were you not invited to the meeting and that's why you're asking?
Well, frankly, I have very little patriarchy abuse in my history. In fact, I go mostly to the Let's Get Macho Man's group that beats the drum in the woods right behind my house. I do.
Do you really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I mean, was that your rim shot?
That was my rim shot.
Let's get some questions from our audience. Let's see who has some questions out here.
I personally have never fallen for the patriarchy, as I must say, some of my sisters have done.
Totally. I admit it. Mea culpa.
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
Yeah, fallen for the patriarchy. What do you mean?
I'm just pulling her leg.
She said mea culpa.
Oh, she does.
Yeah,
she does.
No, I've, you know.
She had heterosexual damage.
Jane, I'm gonna
And fun. I mean, it's over though.
move on to the question from the audience. Or do you want to talk more about this?
Right. Yeah. Later.
Right here.
What do you like the most about these roles, and what are the challenges playing them?
What do you like about playing the role, and what's the challenge?
Well, you know, I become a painter. And all those paintings that Nancy Rosen did, who's the painter, I had her put in a witness protection program. And I'm in the process of changing the signature on the paintings to Frankie Tomlin. You know, it's so much fun to do the show, to be Frank, because Frankie is, she's multifaceted. And she's, what are you laughing about?
You're just very funny. I'm sorry.
I just love it. I love the clothes I wear. Our costume designer has been nominated twice for an Emmy.
And you two are nominated for SAG Awards as well. Congratulations.
Second
Let's hear
time.
it. Yeah.
We love it when we're both nominated. It makes it so much more pleasant on the set, doesn't it?
I know, because she was nominated a couple of years before I was, and everybody was kind of like pretending like it didn't happen.
You know, it's crazy what goes on here.
Where?
When we get together with a moderator.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I love working. Oh, yes. I love playing the part because I like the clothes, too.
Yeah, we have very different
Mine are better
clothes.
than yours, though, that's for sure.
No, mine are very trendy. They've caught on.
I have a
big
great
time in the
hairdresser,
culture.
a great makeup artist who makes me look really good, and they've both been nominated also, as have your, yeah.
They got for DGA.
I don't know what it is. They got nominated for Best
SAG?
Hair and Makeup.
Oh,
Yes.
SAG doesn't bother with things like hair and makeup. They're actors.
And the biggest challenge is having to get up at 4:30 in the morning sometimes and work a 17-hour day. That's a challenge. Even for young people, it's a challenge. Hi.
Next question.
Hi. I don't mean to shame the questioner. I'm only I always try to shame her. So if you get shamed in the process, forgive me.
Oh, great. As a 51-year-old woman Where do I buy Grace and Frankie's vibrator?
Oh, listen, there's a vibrator that comes from the Philippines that
Name
will
it.
knock your head off.
Let us all know.
And someone gave it to me, and I don't know where you buy them. We'll talk.
Okay. Deal.
What's it called?
Leave your address at the door.
Okay, I will.
She'll send it to your home in a plain wrapper.
We love you. Thank you.
I think we have time for one more question. Who's got the right here?
Hello. You are extremely resilient, both women in this business, and you've done a lot of work with activism and so forth. Please tell us what kept you driving, and if you had a chance to be in the business for another 80 years, what would you like to see change or happen?
I could see she was looking at you when she asked that question.
Resilience is a great word.
But you are, yeah. You're truly
Yes, totally. Keeps us going.
Just her finger is from a cadaver, and it doesn't.
It's true, actually.
That's the only one that's not resilient.
I had my thumb replaced with a cadaver. No, it's true. Well, if I could wave a wand,
Yes.
I would want us to reduce our population by about 4 billion people. We need to live on a planet that can sustain us, and we're not right now. And so the first thing that has to happen is we have to save the planet. We have to live differently. I'd like to bring compassion into society.
Empathy.
Empathy. Compassion is beyond empathy.
It is?
Yeah. Empathy is putting yourself in, no, this is important. Empathy is being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they're feeling. Compassion is when you want to do something about it.
But what if you don't
Put that
feel
in
what
your
they're
pipe and
feeling?
smoke it. Well, then you're lost. I mean, there's a lot of people that have no empathy because they've been damaged early on. Trump is one of them, you know?
Yeah, and Trump may very well solve our population problem.
Well, whoa.
Do the rim shot again on that one. Lily.
Yeah. Gee, thanks. So what was the rest of the? Oh. What kept the resilience? I have seen so many people really, really change. I'm one of them. I wasn't always an activist. Knowing how a human being can change, I have a lot of hope that we can change enough people in time.
I can tell you, too, that from all the reading I've done about her history, that even as a small child, she did not have an easy life as a child. She always said she had a mantra, which was, I can make it better. She really did have that.
You've read my book.
Yeah, could you autograph it for me?
Thank you for that question. Thank you.
And she's tried to make it better ever since, over and over again.
Lily, what about you though? How would you answer that the question that was just asked?
The resilience?
Yeah.
Well, I think I was born resilient, but I didn't know that there was anything I could do about it politically, useful, that I could use it for politically. So I just, I did a lot of, I was resilient. I shoplifted quite a bit. I want to draw a contrast between the two of us.
Continue.
Then I did shows at prisons, and I shared my shoplifting experiences with the inmates. It's true.
To teach them how to do it better, so they didn't go back.
Well, she hadn't written that book yet. I didn't kind of know about that. I can make it better. If I'd only read it sooner, I might have made something better, like a vibrator. You can dig a hole for yourself, and you can't get out of it.
You're amazing. Okay, I think I have to wrap it up. So much fun to talk to you. Grace and Frankie, season 4, Friday on Netflix, right? Jane in 5 acts will be at Sundance this upcoming weekend, and you'll be there as well, marching in the Women's March. And Lily?
I'll be at the Women's March.
You'll be there as well?
Did they use my my interview about you in the movie?
Uh-huh.
Cut it up or?
Yeah. But they didn't cut it out.
Didn't use the whole thing like.
Well, they didn't use anything all the way through.
Okay.
Everybody, round of applause for Jane and Lily. Grace and Frankie.